Hello and welcome to Take Back Time. My name is Penny Zenker and I'm your host. And today we're working on a series of interviews to talk about some really important tools that people are using to help them to take back time. That means they're using these tools so that they can be more efficient and effective in what they're doing. And so today I have Bearj Jahanian on the line here with us. Hey, Bearj.
What's up, Penny?
Hey. Now, Bearj, you were on the show before, and we were talking about break down the wall, right? That's your book and your platform for your speaking.
Correct. Break Down the Walls to Success. I was probably your most listened to podcast, I would think.
I'm sure. Absolutely, right? With the energy that you bring. And so, and I put this question out there and I said to people, I want to know what tools you're using and have you on the show and talk about how you're using it. So tell us, you picked Trello as a tool that's a really valuable tool for yourself. Tell us the context and how you use it.
Well, before I tell you how I use it and why I use Trello, I need to start off with, I am one of the world's worst organizers. I'm so bad at it that—
How bad are you?
I'm so bad that I need people organizing behind me. I'm like the pigpen of organizers. And
so you need people scurrying behind you to clean up.
That's what I need. I need people, like, whatever I do, I'm one of those people that walks into a room. I had something on my hand and I just put it down. I didn't even know I put it down. And then I'm looking all over the place for it the rest of the day. That's me. So I was always looking for something that could get me clear with what I was doing all the time and get my processes in order. So, someone showed me this system that she had one time. It's basically a 3x5 card system, and she'd get one of those 3x5 card containers, and she set it up by month, so she knew what she had to do each day, and she used that. And I thought, wow, that's really clever. I like that. And I did that, but I hated getting the 3x5 cards, and I never moved them to the right place, and I didn't do the right things with them, and it drove me crazy. And then another friend of mine said, I love using a whiteboard. And I thought, that's a great idea, because I can put this whiteboard up on the wall and that'll help me to stay organized. But I would never go—
like a mind map or something like that?
Yeah, like that. And maybe a to-do list for the day and the big projects and things like that. And I did that for a while, but then I got tired of using the whiteboard. I didn't want to erase it, or I erased it and then I have to do the whole thing over again. I didn't like that. So then a friend of mine introduced me to Trello. And Trello is sort of a combination. Yeah, like angels sang on in my head. And Trello is a combination of those two things. It operates like a whiteboard, but it's also like a little filing cabinet. And there are some other tools out there that are similar, but I felt that Trello was really, really easy to use and really easy to understand. You can use it in conjunction with other people. You can add them, subtract them, whatever you can segment it with who you want to share things with. You can create big projects, small projects. You can create to-do lists. You can upload pictures. You can actually, on your phone, if you've got the app on your phone, you take a picture of something, and when you open Trello, it says, oh, do you want to use the last photo you took? It literally knows intuitively you probably took that picture because you want to use it in Trello.
That's pretty cool. So even simple enough for the biggest, what do you call yourself? Pigpen?
The biggest pigpen of organization known to mankind. That's me.
That's good. And so if Trello meets your test, I guess it's pretty good.
I'll say this, Penny, the thing is, it's smoke and mirrors. Most people think I'm the most organized person in the world. I'm not, but I have tools that help me to be organized. And, my dad was an electrician, and he had tools when he worked. If he didn't have the tools, he couldn't do his job, right? He would look like he was the worst electrician in the world if he had no tools.
Right, if you don't have the right tools.
Exactly, so we need tools.
So I totally agree, and we need structures, right? Those tools come in the form of structures because, you said something funny. People think that you're really organized. People say the same thing about me, and they're like, oh, you should, work with companies on how to better organize their processes. And I was like, oh no, I hate that stuff. I'm like, I do it because I have to do it. I do it because it's a matter of success, but it's not something that I love to do. But it is something that we have to find when we create structures for ourselves. That's why I do like things like mind maps and and stuff like that. So I haven't tried Trello, so I'm interested in trying it out. But, you know, did you try other tools that you said that this one, you know, other than the more physical ones, did you try other online apps?
I did. And I found, for me at least, they were a little complicated for me. Not that I couldn't do them, but they seemed a little bit too complicated to make it easy for me to use.
Well, and when they're complicated, then we don't follow through, right? Then we, like you said, if you got to move something from here to here and that's more complicated to you, then you're not going to do it.
Well, the reality is everyone thinks in a different way. Everyone organizes things in their mind in a different way.
That's true.
You've got to find something that aligns with how you think. And
that is very true.
And I'm a picture thinker. I'm a very visual thinker, and Trello is a very visual tool. And that's why I think it resonates with me a lot.
That's great. Well, we will we'll have to check that out. So tell us then, you know, how are you specifically using it, and what problems is it solving for you other than just general organization, or is that mainly it?
That's mainly I use it for general organization. If there are things that I know I need to do, maybe there's a timeline to it, or there's a certain date that I need to take care of certain things, I'll put that in Trello. I create a lot of lists in Trello for myself.
So it's like a to-do list for you?
It's a to-do list. I also use it as a way to put down ideas. So I've got projects that I want ideas for, and I'll list all the ideas there. So they're not on these little pieces of note paper around my desk and one of these yellow legal pads.
Right.
Like, which page is it on? Which pad is it on? I have 7 pads. It's on the 19th page of the 3rd pad. Who remembers that? So I can go to my Trello board and I give the boards names, and I know exactly where to find everything. Names, colors, backgrounds, whatever you want to do with it. And it just has made everything so much easier. So when I want to create something, I can take a board and put all of my ideas. I can even categorize the ideas with Trello, and it makes it so easy to do because it's really visual. It's really obvious when I look at it, and it's set up right there on my screen. To me, it works so well. And everyone I've had try it out, most people go kicking and screaming because they love their thing.
Right.
And I say, just look at this, just give it a shot. And almost every single person has said, wow, that's really easy to use. I really like that. And it's a big help. For example, in my mastermind group, we have goals that we assign to each other for accountability each week, and we use Trello. Every person has their own board on that Trello, and we can see each other's goals and tick them off and add new ones for the following week, and it's really easy to share with the team.
That's great. That's great. What about planning? So you said you use it for to-do lists, you use it for idea capture. What about planning? Do you use it for planning as well?
You could absolutely do that because you can set it up for goal setting, and you can put achievements on there. You can do it however you want to set Trello up. You can make it do almost anything.
So you can have it linked to your calendar with dates and things like that?
You know what? That may be possible. I don't use the paid version of it. The paid version of it may have things like that. But I don't know the answer to that question. There is a free version, yeah.
Okay.
And you can tell I'm getting a lot of value out of the free version.
Yeah, and I guess that's what they're looking for, is the people who get a lot of value and then see they get even more value with some of those extra features.
Exactly.
Very cool. Very cool. So what would you say is the feature that you use the most? Is it the lists?
Probably for me, the thing I do the most frequently is 2 things. Number 1 is creating a list for myself for things that I need to do the next day so that I can make sure I get them done, because I'm the person I got the shiny object over here and the squirrels over there, and I'm not sure where to go.
Right.
And then the other thing I do is for creativity, ideas. And I just start listing all the ideas, and it helps me to map that out for myself.
Right. I was telling you earlier before we got on that I just interviewed today David Allen, and he's got the system of getting things done. And that's his main thing, is he's saying, get it out of here and put it in those lists and those captures. So it sounds like, it would be a great tool for people who are using that method, getting things done, that they would have the structure within there to be able to support them.
And that's one of the things I really like about it. And it's really important, I think, for people to get this concept, because when you get the stuff out of your head and you get it written down somewhere, whether it's on a piece of paper or in Trello or some other tool that you want to use, it helps you to sleep better at night.
Absolutely.
Because you're not thinking of what you need to do the next day. You've already mapped that out for yourself, and it helps you to get sleep that night. And entrepreneurs and people who own businesses need to be able to get good sleep.
That's so true. It is interrupting your sleep. David Allen was talking about that as well. Not sleep just specifically, but just, mind like water. When you're able to, take those ideas and put them out on paper, then it doesn't create an open loop in your mind where you have to come back to it. You know that it's there and that you can access it when you need to. So you don't have to worry about recall and, be reminded, because it's already set up in a system for you. So that it's super powerful, because then you can put all that energy into whatever it is that you're currently doing. And also you can be more creative and really access more creativity.
Exactly. And I expect the next time you interview David Allen, that you'll be telling him the things that you talked to me about.
I will. I'll be saying, Bearj Jahanian, he was talking about Trello, and you should check it out and see how that's the system. So, so tell me also if you had to put a figure on it, like how much more productive do you feel like you are now that you're using Trello? If you had to put a percentage.
A percentage. I would say it makes me 1 to 4 times, anywhere between 1 to 4 times more productive based on how much I lean on it. Because if I lean on it, I know exactly what I'm doing that day. If I don't, it slows me down. So I would say 1 to 4 times more productive, which is a lot, I think.
That is a lot. And I hear that a lot when people have these tools and they're passionate enough to come on the show and talk about, how this tool has benefited them. They typically do have that kind of a lift. And I want people who are listening to appreciate that it is possible to get that kind of lift.
Well, think about it this way, Penny. If you had to dig a hole, if you had a shovel, you would dig it really fast. If you just had to do it with your hands, it would take forever. So it exponentially grows the time you can spend on the things that matter.
Absolutely. Well, you talked about tools earlier, right? So it's having the right tool to support you so that you can, take back time to get.
I think that's what I meant by the shovel, but that's okay.
I know. And I love your analogy. So, I'm just talking to you more and more here and keeping the conversation. more awesome analogies. So, so that's cool. That's very cool. So a 1 to 4 lift in your productivity is amazing. And what would you say is the biggest shift in your behavior?
Because I use Trello?
Yeah.
I would say the biggest thing.
Or so you can use Trello.
Or so I can use Trello. That's a harder question. Well, the biggest shift in behavior for me because I use Trello is I actually take that time to sit down and organize what I'm doing and get my thoughts put someplace instead of walking around and let them bouncing around in my head.
So you get specific and you get clarity, right? When you
Exactly. And I actually end up being more creative because, you take the junk out of your head, you've got more room for other junk. Not that it's junk, but you get my point.
Stuff, right? Or
now, what was the second question? What?
Well, then there's the thing that we have to change our behavior so we can use a tool. So, what?
Oh, yeah, okay.
What behavior did you have to change in order to be consistent in using the tool? Because that's the number one thing that people are challenged with is, there's a ton of tools out there and they all work. Like you said, we all think differently. So one tool might be better for me than the other, but they all work. The problem is we don't implement them and we don't use them consistently. So it comes down to our behavior.
So there are 2 things I want to say to that. First of all, you need to know how to use the tool. Because if you don't know how to use the tool, it's unlikely that you will continue to use it because you'll feel that you're not getting any benefit from it. So it's important that you learn how, and I'll use.
How much time did you invest in learning the tool?
I got it right away. Trello and we had a good relationship right away. We saw eye to eye. We were meant for each other. So
what does that mean? An hour, 4 hours?
I would say several different uses. I got it right away, and then I took a little bit of time to make it really easy to use, and then to recognize what some of the other features were that were available to me. Okay. But I got it right away. So, but you've got to invest some time into things so that you understand how to use it. I had a kid when I was teaching high school band. He played the bass clarinet, and there was a stem that comes down or a post that comes out of the bass clarinet at the bottom to adjust the height. He wasn't using it. He would lean it on his foot, And I explained to him that he was going to hurt his foot if he kept doing it that way. So I taught him how to extend the post and lock it in position. And then our next rehearsal, I looked over and saw he had done that, but he had the post resting on his foot. So it's important that you know how to use the tool. And once you know how to use the tool, you need to know how to use it the right way. So if you don't do those things, you still end up with the same bad result, which is a hurt foot.
That's true. See, there's another analogy.
Right.
Another good story. And the reason I ask you that is because I think that that's a failing that many people make, is that they don't give enough time to learn the tool. I mean, I know that I'm guilty, is that, anything that comes with some kind of a book on how to use it, like I throw it away. Like I just dive in and I build the thing, or I use it, and then I find that I have to go back. So I am getting smarter, and I am starting to, search the videos on YouTube first. But I think that it's key that people block time specifically for learning the tool before they actually implement it for themselves.
So I'll ask a question that my mother always asked me, because people will have this objection with time. My mother's question to me was always, if you don't have the time to do it right the first time, when will you find the time to do it right the second time?
Right.
And the point is, get it done right the first time. And a lot of times we rush through something because we don't feel we have the time, and we end up spending more time on it.
Totally.
So get back your time and invest some time. Take back your time. Take back time. So do that and realize it's going to cost you a little bit of time up front, but you're going to gain so much more on the back end.
Yes. And that's the whole point, right? That's a great statement. I love that, what your mom said. So I'll steal that. Tell her thank you.
I will.
So that's cool. And I think it's important. And that's why I wanted to highlight that in terms of, now you said there were two things. So the first thing was to understand how to use it. I don't know if you remember, you said.
I do remember. The first thing was to actually set aside the time to use it.
Okay.
Not just how, but you actually have to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to use this tool. The purpose of this tool is to get me organized. You can either say it's going to get you organized for the day, or it's going to get you organized for the next day. So one is the first thing in the morning. One is the last thing that you do at the end of the day. It's just up to you which way works better for you. Personally, I like at the end of the day, not at nighttime before you go to bed because it gets your mind racing too much, but at the end of your work day. To put, or even better yet, if you have the ability to do it as things come, to just add it there. Leave it open up on your, it's an app basically online, and you can leave it on your phone or up on your screen, and as things come up, you can add things to it. So however it works for you, but you've got to absolutely put the time aside to use it and dedicate yourself to that.
Absolutely. And I like what you're saying, that create yourself a system, whether it means the same time every day, whatever time that is, or whatever method it is, like after you finish a block of time, then you can go in and do it. But systems support us, right? It makes things easier for us when we create these systems for ourselves.
Right.
Awesome. Was there anything else that you wanted to share about Trello, the tool, or something exciting that you've got coming up that you want to share with the listeners?
The only thing I'll say is what I really like about Trello is it rhymes with Jello, and I love Jello.
There you go. Bearj Jahanian, the Jello fan.
Can I tell people about
my favorite flavor of Jello then?
Can I tell people about my book?
You can, but first I want to know your favorite flavor of Jello, since
I would have to say cherry.
Cherry Jello.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll next time I see you, I'll make sure that I buy you a present and get you some cherry Jello.
Oh, okay. If I'd known that, I would have said like I don't know, filet mignon Jello or something like that.
Ew, that sounds gross. And so, so tell us about your book. Tell us where people can get it, because not only did they hear about your, experience with Trello, but they also hear that you're a pretty awesome guy, and they'd like to hear more about what you have to say. Yeah.
So I have a book called Break Down the Walls to Success. And it's 31 simple steps to transform your life and your business into what you deserve. So it's a really simple book. You can literally read a chapter a day. They're not long chapters. It's intentionally short, so you have time to achieve things. I'm not looking for fluff to fill in there. It's direct and to the point with each chapter.
Right.
And you can get it either by going to successbook31, the number 31, successbook31.com, or you can look it up on Amazon and get it there.
Awesome. Bearj, thank you so much for being here. As always, love having you on the show.
Thank you. I love being on here. It's a lot of fun.
Good. I'm glad. And thank you all for being here, because you took your time and energy to invest in learning about some great tools. You took away a few nuggets today. How are you going to apply it? Go out and get the free version of Trello. Check it out. Even if you're already using something, there could be a possible lift here. Bearj is saying that everybody else who's tried it has seen the benefit. So check it out. And of course, it's going to help you to take back time. My name is Penny Zenker, and we'll see you in the next episode.